Welcome to the Five and Dime on Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian, your mid-complexity casual gamer.
I'm Stacey. I am your non-gamer gamer.
This one's a little different this week. Usually we bring these to you live, but
Got to set up for the craft show Friday night, and it happens Saturday. And I think the fireworks are Friday night for our hometown holidays,
oh
and our
yes,
parade of lights is
we
Friday
got a lot
night
of
as
stuff going
well.
on Friday night this week. But if we like this might be how we do our countdowns from now on is pre-recorded, and we'll still do our um Wednesdays with the Wills is live and month in review, kind of talking about games live, which will start up this month. But anyway, this is our Five and Dime. This is the last on in our series of BGG rating Five and Dimes, and then we will move on to something else after next week. Next week we'll be ranking our games played in November. Um, but yeah, so this is the below 6.0 rating on BGG.
I'm so
Um,
sad it's coming to an end.
yeah, we've got to
I'm
we've
so
done
sad.
the complexity ratings and we've done the complexity and now we've done the ratings. So this list is going to be
So
a lot of fun, silly, goofy games. Um, a lot of your childhood favorites that you still like. I mean, this had a lot of childhood favorites on this. So a lot of those classic games. I'm not gonna say there's any real modern day board gaming games on this list.
don't.
I don't think that there might be a couple that are board game. I'm talking like the big mechanics like of today. There's a few.
I have one.
Well, I don't know if I consider these really to be board gaming game like modern board gaming games. There are modern games on here, but they're more kind of fun party games and stuff. So, all right, as always, we are going to start with our honorable mentions. Um, and Stacy's going to give you her 6 through 10 in alphabetical order. We're just going to give the list. We're not going to talk about them.
Oh, this is so sad. I'm so sad this is coming to an end.
And then
But
I'm going to give my 11 through 15 in alphabetical order.
my 6 through 10 honorable mentions in alphabetical order, and I'm not going to talk about them because I'm going to assume that you know what these games are.
I'm not. I'm just going to
Oh,
I'm not going to assume you know what all these games are.
oh,
No.
huh. Fine, you will probably know
Okay.
what they are. You probably at least played them when you were little. So, my honorable mention for alphabetically is Candyland.
And
Love me some
classic,
Candyland.
classic.
Oh, I just love that game so much. It reminds me of my childhood and playing with all the neighborhood kids at the babysitter's house, and I cheated. And then my next one is Googly Eyes.
Oh, that's a fun one.
That is a fun
I
one.
like
If
Googly
you haven't
Eyes.
played Googly Eyes, highly
That
recommend
didn't make
it.
your top five? Oh God.
I know. Crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. See? And then Mousetrap.
Okay.
I love
Another
Mouse.
another
The
another
only
good.
bad thing about Mousetrap is the setup.
Yeah.
The setup is rather difficult, and to get that thing to balance, the little trap to
The little trap to
balance,
balance and then
kind of
something
a
bumps and
yeah, kind
yeah.
of a pain. It's still fun.
I love a good Rube Goldberg machine.
Oh
So
yeah, oh yeah. Um, and then Sorry.
yeah. Okay.
Gotta have Sorry because you liked Sorry sliders
Yes.
last.
True. I did.
So
Yep.
this one, I'm just liking this
Classic. Sorry. Yeah, that's good.
classic
Another
Sorry.
good one.
And then my last one, I haven't played. Oh gosh, I can't even tell you the last time I played this game, but I'd have to say I was still living at home with and I played this probably with my grandma and grandpa, and they have both been deceased since like 1986 at least. And that's Uno. So we really need to get that to the
Oh
table
yeah.
more
Okay.
frequently.
Yes, we do.
I love me a good game of Uno.
All right, my honorable mentions. That was a good list. That
Yep.
was definitely those classic games. Mine's a little mix of more recent and classics. Um, My number 11, or not my number 11, my 11 through 15 in alphabetic order. Bamboozled, it's a dice bluffing game. Uh, Disney Jungle Cruise adventure game. Um, Stacey just mentioned this one. Mousetrap. In my honorable mentions as well. What do you meme family edition? It's a lot of fun. It just fell out. And then as Stacey said with Uno, next one, a lot of childhood memories. I'm actually a little surprised this one didn't make it into my top 10. Um, I grew up, I used to play this with my grandma all the time, and that is Yahtzee. So that one didn't quite hit the list. But yeah. So, as always, I give my top 10. Stacey gives her top 5 as a casual mid complexity gamer, and as a non gamer, we felt like these were good numbers to give. So I'm just going to go quickly through 10 through 6. I think most of these you've heard of. The classic ones you've heard of. Uh, the other ones I'll give a little info on. My number 10 is a classic head to head battle game that I really like, and that is Battleship. I like the once you figure out where one thing is, try to figure out which direction the ships are going, calling the letter and the number. And so that one snuck into my list. Number I think everybody probably knows what Battleship is. I hope. Number 9 is a game called Ice Cream. Ice Cream is a game I got through my board game club. And Stacey and I learned it. We actually developed a 2-player mode for that, which I think we need to bring home, and we need to type that up and put it on BGG because it actually worked really, really well. You're supposed to play with 3 and up, and we were able to create a little 2-player mode. Basically, what it is you have ice cream cones and you have flavors of ice cream in little tubs, and you are drawing cards and you're trying to put ice cream scoops out onto the ice cream cones and make the ice cream. And at the end of the game, so when you draw a card, you put it onto a cone. You know what scoops you or what ice cream you have. You have one face down and you have a bunch that are not face down. And at the end of the round, you go around and you have to serve. If you can serve something, you have to. I haven't played for a while. If you can't serve it exactly, then you get to choose. You only score for things that you serve. Every pint of ice cream can serve as many different chocolates or vanillas or strawberries or whatever you have for ice cream cones. And then you play 3 rounds, and whoever's the highest score wins. It's a lot of fun. The kids really enjoy it as well at school. And I'm just going to adjust this camera just a little bit. It seems a little high. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, so that is Ice Cream. Next is another classic. Stacey mentioned it on her honorable mentions, and that is Uno. I mean, I think most people know what Uno is. Kind of a card shedding game, and you're trying to hopefully run out of cards before your opponents do. Sika's trying to put in his input. Hi. I know we're not paying attention to you right now.
He's reversing Uno right now.
Yes,
he just laid down the reverse card.
Number 7 is a fun game that we play on New Year's. Although one of our ping pong balls is broken, and so we haven't really been able to play the original version. We do also have a couple other versions. And that is Bounce Off. Bounce Off is a game where you're bouncing ping pong balls into a grid, and you have to make different polyomino shapes. Whoever makes it first gets that card, and then you move on to the next card. Really fun game, really quick game. That is Bounce Off. And my number 6 is another classic game, tower stacking game. You're trying to take pieces out without knocking over the tower, and that is Jenga. And I'm hoping most people learn or know about that, so I'm not going to talk about that one too much. All right, moving on to our top 5, starting with Stacey.
My top 5.
Come here. They know.
Is so my number 5. I think you already mentioned it. I was a little preoccupied, so I'm not sure what your list was. But my number 5 was Bounce Off.
Yes, I just mentioned that.
Okay. I will not go into detail on that then.
My number 5 game is a dice game. Reminds me a little bit of Yahtzee with making different sets, and that is called Flash. And in Flash, you have some different dice. Each person has a different colors of numbers on their dice. You're rolling them. You're trying to do a different thing each round, and then what you do is if you're the first person, you just take the number one, two, three, four. I think it plays up to five people, maybe six, and you're just trying to do different things similar to Yahtzee, but it is all in real time. And you're just trying to get different configurations of the dice, like full houses, flash, which is all of the dice show flash, and then you go through a series of them. Like I said, similar to Yahtzee, but it's all in real time. So that is my number five, and that is Flash.
And my number four is a game that we played camping all the time. Um, we would play it when it would rain or snow. We often got snowed out during 4th of July and in the summertime while we were camping, and that is Racco. If you haven't played Racco, basically everybody has a little rack that's like a stadium seating type of thing. And you discard your cards and deal cards until you get your cards from 1 to 10, or I think it's 20 or something. I can't even remember the high card.
I think it
But
goes up to 100.
does it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it
and you're
does.
trying to get 10 in a row, and you have a discard pile.
That's
You can
right.
take off the discard pile, and you can discard stuff and move stuff around.
Yep. So Racco is my number
That
four.
is a there's another good one. Spoiler alert, that one did not make my list, which I was actually not even my arm, but I was actually disappointed because I love Racco. Racco, I have fond memories as a kid. I was that one just snuck off my list. I was very disappointed that one did not make my list. All right, on to my number four. My number four is another classic game of deduction, and that is Clue. I really like
Ooh.
Clue. I talked about Suspicion last week, which I feel is similar to Clue, although you are all getting information. Um, although, as an adult, I do feel like I can glean a lot of information from what's going on around the table as well in Clue, because if someone guesses three things and I know, like I jot down notes. I will say, like, if someone showed me a certain thing, I will not just mark it off. I will put who showed me like that card. So I know that if someone is guessing something else and someone shows them a card and I go, okay, well, I know they didn't have that card because they didn't show it to me, because maybe I had that. So they showed them one of the other two cards. So I start jotting down notes on my little thing there. So I start jotting down. So I personally get information, not direct information, but I can get some pretty indirect information. So I can be like, okay, I know this person doesn't have these things over here. Um, so let me see if I can get some information from the next person. So I really like Clue. Still a classic game. Kids at there was a group of kids at Board Game Club last year who really got into it. I think I'm gonna take Suspicion in because we don't play it much here, and introduce them to that and see if how they like that, because I've kind of taken some of the classic games out of the Board Game Club for just indoor recess stuff, because I want them playing more of the modern stuff during Board Game Club. But maybe I'll bring back some of them back in for a little bit. So that was my number four. That was Clue.
And my number three, going to number three, is a game that we've been playing for a couple years now. It is usually one that we have on game day for New Year's Eve, and that is Oh Snap. If you haven't played that game, I love that game.
Well,
It's
little spoiler, this is a direct crossover. This is also my number three, Oh
oh,
Snap. But
really?
yes, it is. So this is a direct crossover, Oh
Oh,
Snap.
darn. So basically, you have it looks like a little pinball table, kind of. You pull
Yeah,
the handle back, and you put all of these. There's three different sizes of round.
of disc, very thick
Yeah,
discs.
with a little handle
Yeah.
on top of them that you put in there, and then you release the table and it squishes them all together on this board, and you have to gently pull them off of the table, kind of like Operation in a way, where if you pull one off and the table moves, then you lose that particular part. um I love this game. We usually
It's
play
a
it a couple
it's
times.
it's a fun one. It's just like you're starting to like study. You like stand over the top of it and you
Mm-hmm.
put your head on. You're like, look, like, what can I get? Can I get that one? And you think you can. And I'm a risk taker, so I like to get the bigger pieces. The bigger pieces are worth 15 points, the medium size 10, and the small ones are 5. So sometimes I'm like, I can get that big one. And then snap, and the whole thing moves on you, and you lose that piece. Anything that comes flying off the board is eliminated. But if something comes up and it is sitting on top of the other pieces, it is perfectly legal for the next person to grab it. Sometimes you get really lucky and someone will take a piece and things will shift and they've got their piece, um, and they didn't get their piece because things shifted, but all of a sudden there's something that isn't touching anything. Um, that is a fun one. Yeah, this camera. We apologize for the camera shaking so much.
We've got a needy
Sick
puppy.
is very needy this
We
evening.
just got home from work and he hasn't had attention all day.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
is what we come
yeah.
home to.
We went home for a while, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's a little needy type. So number 3 for both of us
That's
is Oh
amazing.
Snap. All
Okay.
right.
My number two, I believe you already talked about this. But this is a game that I never actually owned growing up. This is a game that I had to go to the neighbor's house to play. Um, and so this was really my neighbor and I's get together, have fun game. And we usually played this on New Year's Eve, right before we went outside and banged pots and pans up and down the street. And that is Battleship.
Hmm. Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
never owned Battleship, but I played it a lot as a kid and I always lost. Apparently, I'm not very good at it, but I like playing it, and that's what matters.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
number two,
Okay.
Battleship.
My number 2 is a silly fun party game. It's really supposed to be for more than 2 people, but Stacey and I play it all the time. And we're just, when we play games that are made for 3 or more party games, we're just really honest with each other. And this is all about putting on silly glasses with really weird lenses in them and trying to draw stuff. And that is googly eyes. We actually have 3 versions of googly eyes. The first 2 versions simply have different lenses, and oh my god, some of those lenses, if you have to put in those really hard ones, you can't see anything and you're trying to draw.
And they
And
have those lenses and draw left-handed.
oh yeah, well no, yeah, you're left-handed or drawing with these lenses. And then there's googly eye spin,
Oh.
which, or showdown, which has spinning thing. And yeah, um it's a lot of fun though. I it's just really silly. You're sitting there trying to draw these pictures. You're trying to first of all figure out where you are on the piece of paper. Like, okay. And then you're like, you look at the picture, like, okay, I can draw that. Yeah, no problem. And then you're trying to draw it and you're really hoping. Like, and you are trying to draw your best. And when we play with 2 people, the other person is legitimately trying to guess. Because if you both guess, you both get
Points.
a little bit of an
It's a
award.
move.
So we do try our best. It's just a fun game for the 2 of us. It'd be fun with a lot of people, with a few more people, but it's one of those party games that we make work for 2 people, and that is Googly Eyes. All right, that brings us to our number ones, and I have a feeling this is another. I have a feeling this is another direct crossover. Um,
Really?
I do believe so because you haven't mentioned this yet, and neither have I, and I would be really shocked if this is not in your top 10. What is your number 1?
So my number one is a silly, silly game that makes you do actions, makes you do trivia, makes you do a lot of thinking, maybe stacking of stuff, maybe running from room to room to answer the question, and that's Dice
Yep,
Capades.
that is my number 1 as well.
I love that game.
This game is so much fun. We have 2 versions of this. We have the first and second edition as well. It is so much fun.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
To explain without giving away some of the cards, but there's different parts, like in Thinking Town.
There's 3 different lands.
Yeah.
The first version has a board. The second version just has decks of cards. They're all the same. It's Thinking Town, Action Land, and Trivia.
Trivia Land.
There's one where you do some drawing. There's one where you're answering trivia. There's one where you're doing actions like trying to stack things or trying to go between rooms in different number of rooms. You're rolling all these different crazy dice.
Dice inside of dice.
Dice inside of dice. There's one of the versions has dice that are like playing cards. What else is there? There's um,
There's
picture
picture
cards.
cards where you have to come up with a
Yep, you have
story
to come up with stories.
with the pictures on the
There's
dice
letter cards, and you have to come up with a sentence or something.
that
Some
starts
of
with
it's
each
sentence. I
letter.
mean, yeah, whatever card you get, it says take these dice and this many of that dice. Um, it's a fun. It's we've had that one for quite a few. That is
Mm-hmm.
one of our New Year's Eve staples as well. Um,
We
it
usually play
just
it once a year,
yeah,
besides New Year's.
it's pretty easy to get out. It's pretty fun. It's silly. It's goofy. Wow, two direct crossovers in the
That's
top three.
awesome.
I'm honestly surprised that our top three weren't all crossovers. I was surprised Googly Eyes did not make your top three.
Well, Googly Eyes was up here in my.
I know. I was shocked by that. But yeah, so Dice Capades, really fun, really silly game. If you can find it, highly recommend it. If
We
you
got
just
it
like
at
silly
Target.
fun. Yeah, but that was a while ago.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it there since. Um, I think it's available on Amazon or probably other
probably.
game stores and stuff. There's a couple different versions. There's some expansions with different cards, I think, or something. I don't know. Um, yeah. So, any surprises on your list?
Not a one. I'm surprised, honestly, that Candyland wasn't in my top five.
I'll
As
say
much as I love that game.
I was surprised Google Guys did not make your top five.
But what would you have kicked out if it had made it?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know
I'm
how
just
much I love
surprised.
all those.
I'm shocked Battleship. I did not
Oh,
realize Battleship had that many memories that I was surprised. I thought more of the fun modern stuff was going to be your top three.
hmm.
Yeah, I'm shocked Googly Eyes didn't make your top
I
five.
love me some googly eyes,
Um,
though. I
for me,
really do.
Racco not making even the honorable mentions, I was a little stunned by that. I think Disney's Jungle Cruise moving up above that.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't necessarily remember ranking those against each other, but I did it the other day, and so I don't know. A couple other classes like Sorry snuck off my list a little bit, and Trouble. So, I do like those classic. I do like those
I
classic
love those
games. I
games.
love those games. So I was a little surprised that those didn't sneak into my honorable mentions.
My grandma
Um,
and grandpa bought us Trouble and Sorry for
you know,
Christmas one
I'm
year.
surprised Ice Cream didn't make your.
Oh, that's way. I don't even know where ice cream is
Although
on
you've only
here.
played that at two with our modification,
Yeah.
I've played that with like 4 or 5 kids at school. So,
Ice cream's on my back page, number 24.
oh, okay. You only played it a couple times, and we played it with our 2-player variation, which did
Yeah.
work. But yeah, okay. I actually, yeah, that's not as big as this. I've played that at school with several kids, and I've had a lot of fun playing with them. So that one,
Shoots and Ladders was number 19. Just saying.
Shoots and ladders and Candyland were pretty low on mine,
I bet they were.
honestly. Um, Operation, like, yeah,
Love Operation.
yeah. So anyway, that is our
Oh,
five and
now you
dime
lay
for
down. Okay.
BGG ratings of below 6. What are your favorite games that are rated below 6 on BGG? I'm sure there are some modern board gamey games that are rated below 6 that have at least 50 votes. Um, Otherwise, what are some of your favorite classic games that you played as a kid? Leave us a drop us a note below. What are some of those classic Hasbro Milton Bradley games that you played as a kid that you know I know they're not like the high held in the highest regard now, but maybe you have kids and you played them with kids and you have good memories with that as well. Or you just have good memories of playing them as a kid. Leave us a note. Which ones were some of your favorite classic ones you played as a kid? And also, what are some of your favorite ones that are ranked below 6? Or rated below 6.0 on the rating scale. Um, yeah, like I said, next week we will be back with our November 5 and dime. Whether it's live or not is still up in the air. We're not so sure. We will be live on Monday. We will be live on Monday with our November month in review. This is going to be new to us. We're going to talk about the games we played. So that our 5 and dime is more just saying kind of why they fell where they are a little bit. And then we can talk about all the games we played, uh, and stuff. And if you missed Wednesday, check out our Wednesday with the Willses. We played a tile laying game called Zen Garden, which we don't hear a whole lot about, but we really enjoy. So if you like tile laying games, go check that out. And yeah. If you like this video and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button up above. And if you want to see the rest of our 5 and Dimes, follow that link. Once again, this has been Where There's a Wills.
There's a play.
I'm Ian.
I'm Stacey
and
and
we'll,
Sika.
and we'll see you next time
at the table.